Hi beautiful people, my name is Daniela and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a Queen Charlotte a Bridgerton story review, so let's get right into it. Sorry, there will be spoilers in this. I have reviewed both seasons of Bridgerton on my channel, so if you want to see reviews of Bridgerton, I think it's on the side. I'm gonna say the side. I love the Bridgerton universe. For this, I was excited about it when they announced it, but then the whole press tour and the trailer and everything, like, I was not interacting with. Did not watch the trailer. I just literally went into this completely blind. Fresh eyes, didn't know what was happening in this. We're gonna start off with characters, then we'll talk about plot, and then possible season 2. We'll see. Okay, so first characters I want to talk about are Brimsley and Reynolds. Two of my favorite characters in this whole show. I loved Brimsley and Reynolds. I want to talk about Brimsley specifically. He is just so, I love him. I don't know what his position is called. She was so good to Charlotte in the beginning and even to the future, in the present now. Oh my gosh, I love him. Reynolds as well was so good to George. I know Reynolds was stressing out when George was putting himself through literal torture, which I'll get into later. But when he tried to get in and they shoved him out, I was like, no. He is so good. Both of them are so good at their jobs. So good at their jobs. I literally love them. I also love them together. That was not something I was expecting. I'm so happy that they gave Brimsley a love story because he so deserves it, and him and Reynolds are literally so cute. The scene where they hold hands, I literally was and then the scene where they're dancing at the ball and then they cut to the future and he's all by himself, that made me so sad. I literally almost wanted to cry because I was like, Brimsley deserves love. Brimsley deserves happiness, and I don't know what their story is and I don't know how everything happened, but I just hope that they had a beautiful love story. I hope that they got to love each other because they so deserve it, and I just love the two of them. Now I'm gonna talk about Violet, Lady Danbury, and the Queen in the present or the future. I don't know how to explain it, but older than, not younger than. So first of all, Violet. My first question is, what is the age gap between the three of them? Violet is not even in society, and the Queen is married, and Lady Danbury has been married for a couple years and has 4 kids. So I'm a little bit confused, how much younger is Violet compared to Lady Danbury and the Queen? Violet and Lady Danbury's Gardens in Bloom was not what I was expecting at all, but I really enjoyed it. I also just really like seeing how what happened to them in the past has come to their future. When Lady Danbury tells Violet that she was fortunate, and she was fortunate to be missing Edmund, Lady Danbury, ooh, she was rejoicing when that man kicked the bucket, and I was with her too. So she doesn't get to feel the same way that Violet does, and I really like that Lady Danbury told her you're lucky, you literally are lucky to be able to be missing someone and to be able to have loved someone, because some people don't get to do that, and that makes me sad. The Queen telling her kids to go get pregnant, that honestly was so funny to me, but also it was really sad when her kids were like, Mom, you're a bad mom. That made me sad. That actually made me sad. Brimsley said, you're trapped, you're stuck in the past waiting for George to come back to you. That made me sad. That made me sad. Also at the end when she finds out that Edward's wife is pregnant, that made me so happy for her. The Queen also calling her kids birches and towards to the left was hilarious. That scene actually made me laugh so hard. I actually could not. That was too funny. Now we're gonna talk about Princess Augusta. I don't like Princess Augusta. She's my next person on the kill list. I'm ready for her to kick the bucket. I just don't really like the way that she's dark. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that, first of all. And then also in the portrait, when Charlotte was like, I'm darker than that, please paint me darker. And she was like, no, paler. Make her paler. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think she needs to pipe down a bit. She has too much control, and she needs to realize that yes, Charlotte is in charge now. Charlotte is George's wife. Charlotte is the one that lives with him. Charlotte is in charge now. And her using Lady Danbury to get to Charlotte, that was not cute. I think it would have been so much better if Princess Augusta had put all the effort she put into getting Lady Danbury to tell her stuff, into actually building a relationship with Charlotte. It would have been so much better. Then I would have liked her a bit more. She's on my kill list. She's not number 1, but she's on there because the next person I'm going to talk about is number 1, and that's the doctor. He's number 1 on my list. He's right here. At first, I was supportive. He was like, it's a mental thing, and I was like, yes, it is. He said therapy, and I was like, okay, that works. Yeah, we can do therapy. Now George wanted more, and that was on George. That was his, I mean, it is his hair, so he can decide. What occurred in episode 4, that is just so sad. Like, no one should have to go through that. And the doctor had he had the audacity, that this is what really made me mad. The doctor had the audacity to be like, you need to obey me, you need to submit to me. I have this, I'm shaving your beard, I have this knife in my hands. Pipe down. He's still your king. He's still the king. If he really wanted to, your head could be completely off your body right now. Completely off your body right now. And I'm mad that Charlotte didn't tell him, take him, get the guillotine out, because he deserved it. I don't know who he thought he was. I don't know what he thought he was doing. That doctor needed to go. And I've never been in the position that George has been, but if I was George and I walked into the cellar that this doctor has told me, this is where I'm gonna treat you, and I see a chair that looks like that, and I see a dog and a rat and some other animal, he said that I'm gonna make you like them, I would have been out there. Or when he got waterboarded for the first time, why were they waterboarding him? I have so many issues with the doctor, so many issues with his treatment. Y'all were literally just torturing him. The yells, the screams, the agony and pain and terror that George was going through. Y'all are done. The doctor needs to go. And his little minions beheaded to the guillotine. And now we're gonna get into more characters that I actually really like. First off, we're gonna talk about Adolphus. I loved Adolphus. I'm kind of sad that we don't get to see him. I thought he was super cute. I really liked how him and Charlotte's relationship was really cute. I also love that he called her Leash. I do not know German, but I think it was Liebchen or Liebchen. I don't know German, but I searched it up and it means like sweetheart, like dear. It's like a term of endearment, which I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I feel bad for Adolphus when it comes to him and Lady Danbury, because when she said no to him, it was so funny. I'm so sorry. Like, he was like, let me tell you about our life together. Like, we'll have children and I'll take care of your children and we'll go to parties and we'll do this and we'll do that. And she was just like, no. Like, I know he was hurting. I know she broke his heart for a little bit, but it's okay. He's gonna be fine. Because honestly, while I love the idea for that for Lady Danbury, I think she definitely deserved to be on her own, especially since she had been betrothed to Lord Danbury since she was 3, which is insane to me. Now let's talk about my queen, my favorite character, Lady Danbury. Let's talk about Lord Danbury. Actually, I have a lot of issues with the way that they made Lord Danbury look physically, because I completely understand that they're trying to show that like Lady Danbury was young and Lord Danbury was very old. I get that. That makes sense to me. My issue is, why did they make Lord Danbury look like that? Because I searched up the cast after. The actor that plays Lord Danbury is not a bad looking man. He is an older man. Y'all could have played up the gray hairs, maybe done a couple more prosthetics to add more wrinkles, and it would have been fine. Just the whole Lord Danbury look it really threw me off. Y'all didn't have to make him look so bad. Y'all didn't have to make him look so bad. That's just the truth of the matter. I was ready for him to kick the bucket from the beginning. From the beginning, I was ready for him to kick the bucket, and I'm happy he did. Now, Lady Danbury, she's a queen. She been a queen, because you know what? She been a queen, because this is the past, and even in the present, she's a queen. I love Lady Danbury. Yeah, you are not playing with her. The way she was like, Lady Danbury, when Princess Augusta was trying to call her out her name, ooh. Or when she brought little Dominic, that little boy that played Dominic, cutest little thing I've ever seen. So I forgot to mention this, but when she came out the corner, she was like, you ain't gotta be running me so many baths, girl. Their little giggling and Kiki was so cute. Like, I was so happy for them. I love that she took the fact that, okay, Lord Danbury is gone, but I deserve to be my own person. I deserve to bloom my own garden, which I'll get into. I really appreciate it. Something that I really loved from Miss Lady Danbury, Miss Agatha, was the fact that she and Violet's daddy had a little moment. And I loved her solitude walks. That was really sweet to me. Like, I love that she was like, I gotta go on my walks, and it ended up being that Violet's dad was there. It's Lord Ledger, I believe. She was just able to have a friend. Were they a little bit more than friends? Yes. In all honesty, she was just able to have a friend. And I really loved that. And Violet's daddy and Lady Danbury's that moment when he came to drop off the birthday hat, they end up getting intimate, was really, it really showed Anthony in that moment. And there was this tweet that I put on my screen of someone being like, oh, it makes sense why Anthony is like that, because that was his grandfather. Because that moment when they're like at the door, Violet's dad is like, I'm not here. I wasn't here and I didn't come in. Yeah, I'll be quiet because I wasn't here. Like when he's like doing that, really gave me like, I am a gentleman and you are a lady, like Anthony. Like I was seeing, and I was like, oh, I see it. I see where you get it from. I see where you get it. That's what I love. I love Lady Danbury. I love Lady Danbury in the past. I love Lady Danbury now. I love her. Next up, I'm gonna talk about Charlotte and George. I'll talk about George first. I love the actor that played George, because I think he did such an amazing job portraying such a layered character. I think it was just really beautiful to see. George putting himself through torture because he wanted to be perfect for Charlotte. I can't. Also, their first meet, when he sees her trying to climb over the wall and she finally turns around, he introduces himself and he goes, you are incomparable. That for me, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I love seeing the way that George loved Charlotte. The first episode, I love when a man falls in love at first sight, but then they get married. He's like, I have a surprise for you. And he takes her to the house and he's like, okay, so you're gonna live here and I'm gonna live at Q. The switch up. Oh, I was so mad. How could you treat her this way? Obviously, we didn't know what he was going through and all the things, but it was just like, I love seeing that George could realize that he could love her with all of his flaws and that she could love him with all of his flaws. There's just so many moments where you see him falling in love with her and it's so beautiful to see. And him professing his love to her and him saying that his heart breaks when she's not near, like, you really can't make this up. Like I love the way that he loves her. The fact that he sacrificed himself and his comfort and put himself through so much torture just so he could be with her. Let's talk about Charlotte. I really, really loved her. I really, really enjoyed seeing her relationships with Brimsley and Lady Danbury and George, and just how she interacted with Hatan and how she took on this new role, because as a 17-year-old girl, you handled that much better than most people would. Like, I don't think I would have handled that as well. To see her unconditional love for George, like, that was really, really beautiful. For me, what solidified it was when he was back in his observatory in Q and she was like, tell me that you don't love me and I will go live this life alone and just have this child and raise this child on my own. But if you love me, then I'll stay with you forever. I don't have very much to say except for that. That was just so beautiful to see, because to see that unconditional love like in action, and I love seeing the development of her relationship with Brimsley. One, that was just so cute. I loved her and Lady Danbury, especially the first episode or the second episode when they're drawing that diagram. Like, that was so funny. And the oranges, when she wanted her oranges, and just seeing how she took her own personality and she took who she was and fit that into the role as queen, and just supporting George throughout everything. Also, the fact that she was pregnant 15 times. 15 times? This scene, this is more for George. She goes into labor and they're like, oh, the men aren't in the room. And Lady Danbury comes out and she's like, she's asking for you. And the Archbishop of Canterbury is not trying to let him in. He's like, do you like me, the Archbishop of Canterbury? Do you want to keep having your job? Move out the way. Like, exactly. They're under the bed and George is like, I'm so happy you didn't jump over the wall. And this is future George, so he's like not really mentally there. For him to remember that and to say that, that's all I have to say. I really enjoyed seeing this love story. I don't think we had enough episodes though. 6 episodes was so small, but it was good. The plot, because I just want to talk about a couple things. First thing I'll talk about is the only issue I had with the handling of George's mental health disorder is that, like, they never named it, and maybe that's because in real life I don't think they ever really figured out like what exactly he had. I think now with modern medicine, some people say that he had bipolar disorder, some people say other things. I have no clue. I wish that we had just gotten a bit more insight of like what's going on with him, because I feel like we just saw him in the torture chambers. That's what I'm gonna call him. I wish we got to see more of like, when did that start? Like, why is that happening? Now I'm gonna do a trigger warning for the next topic, so I'll put up on the screen the timestamp for when I am not talking about this triggering topic, because I'll be talking about, I'm not sure if I talked about this in my Bridgerton season 1 review. I'm not really sure why it's becoming a pattern of something that we are being forced to see. We were constantly seeing Agatha have non-consensual sex with Lord Danbury. There was no consent being seen at all. There was not a single time that she seemed happy, except for when she was with Violet's dad. But even then, that was when she consented to it and she wanted it to happen. But otherwise, it was a constant viewing of Agatha being raped. And that's just something that I really wish, one, there were trigger warnings. That just needs to be happening. But also, my question is why, what was the reason? Why did Shonda and the rest of the writers feel it necessary for us to not only see that, but see that so repeatedly? Because it would be another thing if maybe it happened once and then there was a conversation about it, but it was just constantly happening over and over and over again. And also, my question is, Shonda specifically now, what is with showing Black characters being sexually assaulted on screen so much? Why are we constantly seeing that? Because you did it in season 1 and now you're doing it with this, and it's just unnecessary. It feels very weird. It feels very odd. And I just want better for these characters. I just want better for them because I think that they deserve more. That's all that I want to say about that. Now, and on a more light note, I really enjoyed the Gardens in Bloom conversation between Lady Danbury and Violet. I think it was very, very funny. It was really good comedic relief in comparison to what we were seeing with George and Charlotte. Also, Violet finding out that her dad, well, I don't think she directly found out that her dad and Lady Danbury were intimate because Lady Danbury never said anything. All that Violet found was the hat. Just that being unfolded kind of was also very fun to see. Now for season 2. Y'all might hate me for this, but as much as I love the cast, and I mean I seriously love this cast, I really don't see the point of a season 2. I hate to say that, I really do, but I really feel like this was a perfect limited series and we saw exactly what we needed. I'm like very content with how this ended. I wouldn't not watch another season if they like came out with another one, but I just don't really see the point of one. The next person to have a story should be Lady Danbury, because within that you can intersect with the Queen and Violet as well, you know? I enjoyed Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story. If I was ranking, I would say season 2 of Bridgerton is definitely my number 1. Kate and Anthony, you're just not gonna beat them. But then I'd put Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story as number 2. And then I put season 1 of Bridgerton as number 3. Charlotte had a rock of a rank and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Only you're the reason why I can feel those butterflies when I